People watching on YouTube and you're like, why the hell is he talking about shaving? Alright, well, here's Nosfa and Xron. And there's some good reasons I want to watch this video. You will see soon. Nosfa, obviously, South American player. Had a decent performance at an event with top 20 in the world. World being an interesting term used in this. I might put up the sound a little more. But Xron is on his favourite champion of them all. He's on the Nyx. That's a really aggressive orb, actually. But I do like it. That orb is actually so sick. He's managed to block off Xron from getting to the heavy. And he just didn't expect it at all. Like, and the thing is, for Xron, as soon as he saw the orb up there, I think he should have backed out. Because there's not really much that he could do to challenge it anymore. There would be a stack advantage for sure. He gets rid of the light armor, but it's not really meaning much. Oh, that is such a sick combo from Nosfa, actually. And Xron just doesn't know what to do with life there. Does get heavy off the spawn, so you got a silver lining. But he's paid 3 frags, and Nosfa's control is still going to be tidy. And he should have a timing on the next heavy. And up in a few seconds' time, it should be mega health coming up. And he forces out the Ghost Walk. He's got a good timing. Ooh, that's a pretty sneaky couple of rails here. Nosfa's in a bit of trouble. This should allow Xron to get back onto the heavy. Nosfa makes a good call to not commit to the lightning gun angle. That's a very obvious route to pick, and obviously Xron's checking that out. But Nosfa, in all likelihood, is trying to stay off the map. I think I just heard him there. And Xron heard him. Where's he gone? He did the ledge grab. I don't think that Xron quite realized that. Not immediately anyway. And Nosfa's done some good damage. He takes about 90 himself. But he also dishes out a decent amount. Gets rid of a load of the stack that Xron has. And forces him to go back to the items. And now Xron is going to be able to get the heavy fully overstacked. Oh, look at that damage he did. So much just immediately. They even exchange on the frags. But Nosfa got something like a 200 damage blast with Rocket and the Dire Orb. That was the pain right there. And yeah, you don't want to get caught out on there. If you go for the ledge grab, you know, your chances of survival are a lot easier. But, I mean, you should almost always do the ledge grab anyway. There's very few reasons you would need to. There are certain gaps that you can make if you don't use a ledge grab, but there isn't one there. And Xron's going to start making his way back in, having done an alright amount of damage. And Nosfa probably overcommitting to that position anyway. Big shout out to the 26 months from Django. This is Shave. Oh god. Thanks very much, Django. So it's been a super active Molten at the moment. A lot of frags. You don't normally expect this amount of frags in a Molten, at least not in 4 minutes. And wow, Nosfa gets him just as he goes through the teleporter. Xron, a shake of the head right there. But he's still managing to find some items off the spawn. He's just not being able to match Nosfa's damage output. He's usually getting a clean shot or so before Xron is doing any damage in return. Still needs rockets, but this isn't bad to work with. Really, really aggressive. I don't know what possessed Nosfa to do that. If you stay up there and all the items come back up, it really doesn't matter, because if Xron makes a play and goes for either the Mega or the Heavy, then you get the other item for free. So a little bit of a throw. Not a great rocket jump. You can't get away from that. That hurts. That... Xron's enjoying that. So something's gone horribly wrong there. You know what's about to go even more wrong. I just don't get tired of seeing that. And Xron is like, I can't believe my luck. Cannot believe it. Nosfa is just, he's worked hard for the lead, and it's just gone. The game has just been totally flipped. And it started out on that frag, which honestly secured Xron 3-6. That's when we had the crazy drop down. Nosfa is a confident player, and I think he got overconfident then. Then it kind of went worse and worse. He looked for that desperate escape with a rocket jump. And the two off the maps I can't really explain. But I will say one thing, that although it's contesting with the amount of you know, times falling off the map with Rafa, at least Xron was attacking him when he went off the map. That means you have a little more dignity than Rafa may have felt he had when it happened to him over at the railgun area during PGL. Now I'll answer chat after the map, okay? And right now, Nosfa just wants, like, a recovery of some sort. I mean, Nosfa can buy himself some opportunities, but now you're going versus a Nyx who can play a slow defensive game. Like, everything was perfect for him in the first 5 minutes. Everything was perfect. Well, you know, whatever it was. When it was 6-2, that's amazing. It's you know, a scoreline that can be fought back, and Xron can make it happen without you falling off the map. But it would normally take longer than a minute to come back on. I do quite like these sort of preemptive dire orbs that Nosfa makes. He's fairly creative with it. I see that the Ghost Walk, he's going to be able to run away. He can get some resources. Nosfa's guessed wrong in terms of where to go to. There's another health bubble, so he's no longer railable. Oh, that's a really, really, really sexy rail. And it's just keeps on coming. These are like the shots that Nosfa was hitting at the beginning of the game. But Xron's decided that he no longer wants to miss any rails. And I think he's just going to follow this up. Some good weapon choices here. Really, really good weapon choice. And now Nosfa just wants to hang his head in shame and feel bad about life. But, you know, pick himself up a little bit before the next map. But really, you know, should still feel bad about everything that he's done. Should feel good about the start, but then feel even worse about how he let that start get away from him. Machiavelli's saying, this was out of control game in this match. This leaves much to be desired. I totally agree. I think he's just broken himself after what happened. Like, if he played a strong out of control game and he got back into it, I would have been like, you're a hero and you deserve to be worshipped. But he's, yeah. Certainly not made life easy for him. It's not meant to sound wrong. It's a common phrase in the UK, Mangana, to hang one's head in shame. You're not literally hanging yourself. I mean, I'm not that savage. But it's more like you're slumped down, head on the table. So that's GG and a free map win for Xron. Nothing wrong with free map wins. Yeah, the only thing Machiavelli is us getting like these VODs and stuff timed at the same time. Because I'm just watching VODs and I'm not really casting, I'm kind of just looking at stuff and occasionally cycling back. I'd cycle back on there, but I think I don't think a lot more needs to be added. I probably could talk a bit more about why he was terrible out of control. But I think more of it is down to mentality at that stage and the fact that he had so much rubbish happening to him. Like, he got pushed by the side of the teleporter when he obviously meant to go through the teleporter. And he's probably had like 2 pretty bad rocket jumps as well. One of them was above heavy and the other was at mega, which pushed him off the map. Like, that rocket jump at mega. Xron's LG was okay, but it wasn't so great that it should force him off. It was kind of just a crappy rocket jump combined with a bit of LG pushing him back.
Prepare to fight.
I wouldn't say it was like a good rocket jump, but Xron's LG reigned supreme, so thoroughly deserved frag. I mean, it was still deserved. It just wasn't like even that hard fought, to be honest. But I think you're right there, Machiavelli. I think Nosfa's, is he going to get this? Oh, the nails. Mad bro. I think he maybe expected the first punch to get the kill. Nosfa should be pretty low. I think Nosfa's offensive game is way better than his defensive game. I actually think that his offensive game is better than most of the field who was at QuakeCon. And I think that's why he's been able to have an impact. It's because he's got such a crazy style in control and in the lead, and he can kind of capitalize on that. Yeah, Nosfa is overcommitting to an angle there. You got dual wield, but you're certainly not invulnerable, and he needed to hit, I think, 2 rails. I wasn't really paying attention, but I'm pretty sure it was 2 rails he needed. I think Nosfa sometimes does just need to realize, okay, when do I chill out? It's good to be doing damage on your opponents frequently, but you can't always try to do damage on your opponent because then they're going to always expect it. That's such great entry damage. If it wasn't so low HP, well, never mind. He wants to go in for the kill anyway. I was going to say, he should push in at that point, but just be really, really wary. And he does get the perfect spawn kill, so that's happy days. And he probably would have, if he had like 50 more stack, he probably would have looked through the teleporter to try and land a rail off over at Lightning Gun spawn. But I wonder how much of this is like Nosfa psyching himself out from last map and him actually playing like his best, but his best not being good enough for Xron. Привет, klar. All the machine guns so close for Nosfa. But he does need to stack up again. He's not strong. He's got LG room to himself. I think the light armor would have been up just then. But Xron is chilling with 100-100. He knows it's enough to deal with the chaos that Nosfa brings. Dual wield. You have to be a little wary about that. So you can see he's poking and prodding his head out only a little bit. He's done good damage. Oh, wow. Mid-air. Okay, so he did good damage, but I don't know why he double jumped up. I guess he would expect that shot to just not be hittable for Nosfa. It's a low percentage shot for Nosfa most of the time. But even if he hit like the wall or something, there was some splash that could happen there. So I feel like Xron put himself in a little bit too exposed for that brief moment. But then off the spawn, Nosfa also does some good work. But it's kind of a battle of spawn stacks at this stage. Ooh. Getting that one extra armor with the light. Nosfa was hitting a lot just then, but Xron started that with like 160 to 100. Okay. That was like 100% LG just then. The thing is, you go for those resources in that pit, you need to get out of there as soon as possible, because it takes you so much time to leave it. And also, again, it's like, I've got dual wield, I can do anything, but, you know, but some things. That zoom in LG though. Kind of surprised Xron didn't get the kill just then. He couldn't chase around elbow quick enough. Some good rockets. Nosfa really, really needed that. Because he's got heavy secured. And I think he's going to get mega health. Did he get mega from that? So he's got 100 armor because he took a little bit of damage there, we saw, and he picked up the light. So it should be like 172 to 100. Oh, the rail's close range though. I'm not totally understanding. Xron keeps doing that. He keeps going up the bounce pad and making himself vulnerable. I don't know if he's giving like a predictable angle. But he's opening himself up for damage when he shouldn't. Oh, Nosfa should have gone in the lead there. He's going to try this again. And again, he takes damage. Nosfa realizes in the water's like, right, I'm going to punish this. So he's lost a small chunkette of armor. And Xron now is going a little bit more survival mode. He's trying to slow the game down. Has managed to do enough to get the mega health. Stacks should be slightly geared towards a Nosfa though. And Xron is like forever in this light armor pit, which has been a good chunk of the reason why he's lost so many frags. I think Nosfa needs to pressure him. He definitely needs to pressure the heavy, which I think just spawned. And maybe was a little bit passive just then. I'm not sure if Nosfa was entirely certain what stack Xron was on. Like, it's not a bad shout to be aggressive now. But it feels like he's under the impression that Xron is maybe 100 health, 50 armor. When he's half of that. Yeah, been super passive on Nosfa when he should have been looking to finish up opportunities. And he's not done any damage in ages, so Xron is just stacking and stacking and stacking. And now they're going to look fairly even, if not a slight advantage for Xron. Double jump, giving him nice angles. And now Nosfa. Oh, the mid-air! That's so good. That is so good. The mid-air wins him the fight just there. I feel like Nosfa, yeah, that's misreading of stack and not closing down the frags when he did have item control. But the rotation of the items made it very difficult for him to secure two. So he was slow, he let Xron get back in. He's still not finishing that job. He's on 26 health. I think Nosfa there realized that he was low, but still not able to do it. Mega health doesn't spawn, though. And that's mistiming. Well, he probably didn't even necessarily mistime it, but it's just hopeful. And you can't be hopeful in these circumstances. Oh, dude, that hurts, man. That LG. This is actually a super close game, though, to be fair. Like, really, really close. I feel like both players have been making mistakes in this match. I feel like Xron has been, like, overexposing himself. And Nosfa's being more... just slight misjudgment of situations. Or, like, misreads on stacks and things like that. But it's a really, really even map. And Nosfa's doing quite well to keep it this close. But he is behind right now. This could even go to overtime, possibly. But I'd expect Xron to close out a frag in the next 15 seconds. That's what he's trying desperately to do, at least. And yeah, okay, he's managing to find one. Knew that he was weak. And now Nosfa's got to have, like, a desperate push. Like, he's just got to go close. He's got to take every single risk. He's still got to run at him, despite there being 15 seconds to go. And that's GG right there. Trying to force the spawn over by Heavy, but I think Nosfa's like, you've got it, mate. You have it. Ain't nothing I can do.
You win.
Kind of weird moments, though, in there. Xron putting himself out there for fights when he knows Nosfa's damage output's really good. Let's have a look. 42% rail, 50% rail. Xron hit a lot more rails, actually. He hit almost twice as many rails. 14 over the 8 of Nosfa. LG damage is really, really similar between the two of them. Control of heavies was better for Nosfa. Oop, what's going on here? Yeah, an interesting game. Like, if Nosfa can Nosfa can balance his defensive game to be as good as his offensive game, then he becomes all of a sudden more than the world class that he is right now. And he becomes someone who can actually challenge for titles. Like, he's not that far away. He's got lots of very, very strong components and things that I don't see many other European players do or North American players do. Like, he has this way of stringing together combos and being creative with his offense that is very refreshing. But then sometimes he just does stuff that you're just like, what are you doing? Why are you giving away these free frags? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it feels imbalanced. But I'm still jealous of his offensive skills. We need to find another. Need more. You feel like Nosfa's burst damage and combos are so good that he relies on it too much.